Hi there. All right. So, sorry, I was checking the light. I'm glad that we're finally live. I'm going to chit chat for a couple of minutes just to um, give people some time to join because I know that these live announcements are coming out and it takes a little time to join. But today we're going to have a very exciting session talking about President Trump's gold card and the announcement that Nicki Minaj made that she received one. So, a lot of exciting and entertaining, I wouldn't call it news, but let's just say announcements have been made, and I'm going to dissect it and talk about the actual facts and legalities. As you guys know, I am an immigration attorney and a FINRA registered investment consultant. For those of you who don't know what FINRA is the financial regulatory authority that regulates financial professionals. So anybody who is giving investment advice, selling stocks, bonds, placing clients' funds in investment funds, they're all regulated by FINRA. So I have the types of licenses that allow me to work with private placements, and that is what I do now. I advise investors on which projects to select. So as we got this going, I also diverted some of you from Instagram. Some of those of you who follow me on Instagram, our Friday night live sessions have now been moved to YouTube. The reason why I'm going to continue to do the lives on YouTube is because it allows us to archive these sessions. And then those who have missed a session and were interested in the topic can come and revisit. Obviously, all your questions and comments are welcome. Let's try to have a productive conversation, but sometimes questions that maybe are not very serious but are at the top of your mind, such as how could Nicki Minaj get the gold card so quickly? Those are also cool questions to ask, and I will try to answer them if it's something that I know about. And if there's a topic that you want me to talk about, please either email us or leave a comment or send a DM because we're reading all of that and I am accumulating all your questions, and that's how I decide which topic to do for my next live session. All right, so without further ado, because I've given everybody a few minutes, I was also 35 minutes late to my own live session because I had a consultation that I needed to finish and I didn't want to cut off my client without them fully understanding the process. So let's talk about gold cards. This is super fun. So many of you have heard that President Trump made an announcement about a year ago, last March, that he's going to roll out a gold card, gold card program. At the time, he announced an idea where foreign nationals would be able to make a $5 million donation to the US government, specifically to the Department of Commerce. And in return for that donation, they would get permanent residency in the United States. As Mr. Trump called it, he called it a gold card or Trump card. Obviously, that was a thought. As many of you know, in the United States, a president cannot single-handedly write a law. Okay, that is not a power we grant to the president. If the president wants to pass a new law, he has to write a proposal and take it to Congress and Senate, where they have to vote on this law. And only Congress and Senate can actually write and implement laws. So we have, three judicial branches. We have the executive branch, which is the president, police departments, immigration enforcement, and a lot of enforcement agencies are under that executive branch, so they enforce the law. Then we have the legislative, which is Congress and Senate. They're the ones writing new laws. And they go through a long process. Both Congress and Senate have to agree, pass the law. The president can veto the laws, but he cannot just write the law without the approval of Congress and Senate. Right? And then you have the judicial branch of the government, so that's courts, and courts interpret the law. So when there's a question of fact or question of the law, the president doesn't get to decide what the law is. Congress doesn't get to decide how to interpret the law. It actually goes to court, to the judges, and they have the power to determine, okay, under this set of facts, how do we apply this law and how should it be interpreted? So because we have this division of powers, the president can't write laws. The president does have these limited powers, but very strong powers. It's called an executive order. An executive order is something that a president can sign when something needs to get done quickly, right? Cannot wait for months and years for the law to be passed. This is in the greater need of the society, and this is an action that needs to be taken quickly. So the president can write a proclamation or an executive order, and it's supposed to be implemented pretty much right away. But the executive orders can only be within the legal framework that has previously been created by Congress. So if you're trying to create a totally new concept that doesn't meet any of our legal requirements, it can be challenged in court and overruled. So president's executive order can be shut down by a judge. Okay, so what happened with the gold card? The president said they're going to roll out this program. And rightfully, they were asked, by the journalists who were present at the press release. They said, don't you need Congress for this? Don't you need Congress and Senate to pass this? To which the president said, nope, we're going to do it without Congress. And they kind of did. Finally, in the fall of 2025, he wrote some executive orders saying, okay, my $5 million idea, we are going to change it. From now on, we are going to ask individuals, foreign nationals who want to get a green card, they can donate $1 million to the Department of Commerce. And the executive branch will basically provide, I guess, a letter of recommendation recommending that these individuals be eligible under an EB-1 3 or EB-1C program as extraordinary ability entrepreneurs. So executive order has to meet the congressional existing framework. So they're saying our executive order is going to say, if you donate $1 million, we are going to write a letter saying that you should qualify for the existing program as an extraordinary entrepreneur. Or we can write another letter saying you should qualify under the existing green card program. We have a program that's called National Interest Waiver, meaning if what you do is in the best interest of the US economy, you can get a green card. So in the fall, I'm summarizing, I'm giving you guys a lot of legalities, but let me try to summarize. Basically, the Gold Card program was announced, the website was created to take in applications and make the donation. So that can be done today. A person can make $1 million donation and try to apply through the Gold Card program as either an extraordinary ability entrepreneur or, through the National Interest Waiver program and try to get a green card through one of these programs. Here's the slight problem. As an attorney, and as many other immigration attorneys will tell you, we absolutely do not know what the results will be. First of all, neither the presidential branch has told us how long this processing is going to take. They obviously did not change the existing law, so they said these investors should qualify under EB-1 or EB-2 program, which are the existing programs. But they didn't grant additional visa numbers to these programs. So now these individuals who potentially donate this $1 million are competing with other applicants who are already waiting for their turn in these programs. So we don't know the timeline, but more importantly, we don't actually know if legally this is going to pass under the existing legal framework. So that's going to be decided later in court. And we assumed that someone was going to challenge this in court, and that already happened. At least one substantial lawsuit was filed stating that this executive order implementing the gold card donation program to qualify as an entrepreneur or as someone whose actions are in the national interest of the US violates the existing law. And so this lawsuit has already been filed in the federal court and is going to get reviewed, and we will see what is decided. Either the gold card program is going to be allowed to stay, which means you can make $1 million donation, apply for a green card through EB-1 or EB-2 category, or perhaps a judge is going to say that program violates the existing law. So at that point, President Trump would have to go to Congress and try to lobby them to write a new law if he still wants his program to be around. Some fun information over the weekend. Over the weekend, President Trump at an event presented a singer, Nicki Minaj, who is a big Trump supporter, with a Trump gold card. Now, not all of you know, Nicki Minaj was not born in the United States. She's from Trinidad, so she's not a US citizen. And so Trump presents her with this gold card. She goes on her social media and posts about it and says, hey, I got a Trump gold card without having to make $1 million donation. And now I'm in the final process of my citizenship paperwork. So a lot of people had different reactions to this. Some said, good for her. Some said, well, this is a little unfair. Why is she allowed to bypass and not make $1 million donation? Others are like, really? That's all it takes to get citizenship? So let me clear this up. The gold card, physical card that Nicki Minaj was presented with has no legal immigration bearing or status. And this is not just my legal opinion. This is a fact confirmed by The Hill. So the presidential office put out a post saying this was a memento. She was given a memento. This is like basically a souvenir. This has no legal bearing of any kind. Why? Because a gold card is not an actual immigration status. A gold card program possibly could lead to a green card permanent residency through either EB-1 or EB-2 petitions, but it's not currently an immigration status. There's no gold card law. So Nicki Minaj just got a memento. What she said about her citizenship paperwork, to me as an immigration attorney, it all sounds very silly and doesn't make sense because Nicki Minaj is an incredibly famous and successful musician, already qualifies for the EB-1 program, the very program that the gold card is supposed to help you with. She qualifies as an artist of extraordinary ability because she's in the very top level in her field. Actually winning a prize like a Grammy basically makes you instantly qualified because that's the highest level of achievement in your particular industry. So Nicki Minaj, if she wanted to get an EB-1, a green card through the EB-1 route, based on her credentials, she already qualified. Also, when she said, I'm now in the final stages of processing for my citizenship paperwork, the gold card doesn't make you get citizenship any faster. It cannot. The law is that you have to be a U.S. permanent lawful resident for at least 5 years before you can apply for citizenship. So if she's saying she's in the final stages and she's getting her citizenship soon, that means she already was a lawful permanent resident, which means she didn't even need the gold card program because she already had the benefit that it potentially offers. So it seems like it's a lot of publicity with very little legal meaning. I don't know if Nicki Minaj even understood what she got, if she understood that it's a memento. For them it was like a cute moment. But guys, don't be upset or don't be excited either because legally that transaction had no meaning. It was just, again, a souvenir that the president gave her. And so, gold card, should anyone try it? I'm putting back my attorney hat on for a little bit, and I should obviously preface this. Nothing I'm saying today is a legal advice to any particular individual. right? If you are considering immigrating to the United States, you need to seek individual advice from an immigration attorney who is qualified, because every situation is different and you need to understand the terms. But I was a practicing immigration attorney, so I'm going to comment on the overall legality of the programs and some of the considerations. Currently, opinions of most immigration attorneys is that the Gold Card program does not fit in within the existing legal framework, meaning the benefits that were promised and the actions that the individuals have to take are not consistent with the EB-1 and EB-2 legal programs and its requirements. Under the EB-1 program, you have to show that you're an entrepreneur of extraordinary ability. So usually you have to show that whatever field of business you were in, you were in the top level of that field. Making $1 million donation is very arguable, but it's uncertain that it makes you a top entrepreneur in your field. Possibly there's a legal argument that making $1 million donation to the US government puts you in a category where your activity is in the national interest of the United States. But one of the requirements for the national interest waiver program, and that is based in the law, is that you have to show that your future activity, like you will continue to do the same activity that got you this green card to begin with. But now you're going to do that in the US. If you've already made $1 million donation, you're not going to continue to donate money to the government. So as a result, many immigration attorneys today do not believe that there's a legal basis that the gold card will be upheld in court, and some may believe that it may. So it is a big question of law. Whether or not someone should apply, again, they should seek a consultation with an immigration attorney. If they understand the risks and they choose to move forward, who knows? Maybe they're going to get the results they desire. Maybe not. Obviously, future presidents, because this was based not in a law that was passed by Congress and Senate, future presidents, future administrators could cancel this program and possibly the benefits that were given under this program. So gold card applications are available. You can make a donation of $1 million to the US government. You will also pay a large fee. Whether or not you will be able to get the legal benefit that you are seeking for is uncertain at this point, right? It's being challenged in court. Another thing that these individuals should keep in mind, this is a donation. This is not money coming back to you. This is not an investment. And the $1 million threshold is per family member. So if you think you're making $1 million donation and it's you and your wife and your children get the green card, no. The Gold Card program is set up in such a way that each person that you want to be able to apply for the green card with you, for each family member, you have to make $1 million donation. So an average family with 2 kids would have to donate $4 million to apply. No additional tax benefits are attached. You still have to qualify. You still have to pass the background checks. You still have to qualify under the EB-1 or EB-2 categories. So again, seems a little bit uncertain, but some people really want to try it. They really believe that it will work, and they should seek counsel to see if they can help them. I personally don't really understand if an individual today is seeking a green card and they have the means that they have $1 million that they're willing to donate. I personally don't see the benefit of the potential gold card program over the existing EB-5 program, which was passed by Congress. The EB-5 program has been around for more than 30 years. And it has been working, and we literally have tens of thousands of people who have received their green cards through this program. And it does not require a donation. You can make a private investment into many different companies. It's an investment of your choice. So yes, the government is not going to guarantee the return of your money because you're making a private investment and you're choosing the company. But obviously, if you choose a project that is a good project and it finishes, then you are eligible to get your money back from that project after a few years. The average cycle of the return of the investment for EB-5 projects is today between 3 and 6 years. It used to be much longer under the old rules. The rules have changed, and so the investment cycles have also shortened. Many people are asking me if the EB-5 program still exists. With the gold card coming out, yes, the EB-5 program has existed, continues to exist. No one has canceled it. We're filing petitions weekly. The gold card program did not cancel it and didn't even attempt to cancel it. There was some talk in the beginning that it may replace EB-5, but then they decided not to even bring that up. So the EB-5 program has been working, and it also allows the individual to file their petition and seek what's called concurrent adjustment. So if you're in the United States today, you make an EB-5 investment to a qualifying project, you can file your EB-5 petition and also ask for a concurrent change of status from your non-immigrant to immigrant status. What that means in practical terms is you get a lawful presence while you wait for your EB-5 petition to be approved. And the requirement is 800,000, not a million. The minimum investment amount is 800,000. It is an investment, so you invest in a project that you expect to use your money, create jobs, and then repay you when that project is sold or refinanced. And there are many different project offerings that are coming out. So that's kind of my summary on the gold cards right now. So guys, I always encourage do your research. I actually have a few clients that I'm working with now who are going to be filing EB-5 petitions, but they came to us because they heard about this gold card. They started researching. They realized that it was not law that Congress passed, that it was an initiative that the president is trying to implement. And because there's no history, no certainty, and there's no concrete known legal basis yet for this program, they researched the EB-5 program, realized that this program has been around and working for 30 years, and they decided to go the EB-5 route. So at least we're raising awareness of what is happening in the world. And I want to check to see if I have any questions. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Let me see, because the comment section on YouTube is a little bit trickier than on Instagram, so I'm still learning. Okay. I don't think I have any questions, so I do like to wrap up these sessions by, going over some housekeeping items. EB-5 in 2026. We have some deadlines that are very important. As I mentioned, the EB-5 program has been in existence for more than 30 years. Actually, the direct program, that's when you run your own business, create your own jobs, that was created in 1990. In 1992, the Regional Center program was implemented. That's when you can choose to pool your funds together with other EB-5 investors and invest through a private entity called Regional Center. And that entity invests through a development project. They do all the work in terms of job creation in the building, and then return the investment if the project is successfully finished. So the Regional Center program has been around for since 1992. Things to keep in mind: 95% of all EB-5 investors utilize the Regional Center program. Why? Because it makes for a much more passive situation. You can choose a project and invest it passively. You have some voting rights, but you don't have to manage the day-to-day of the operations. So our beloved Regional Center program is not permanent. It goes through renewals every few years. Now, it has been renewed since 1992. So we're going on 34 years. But the next renewal term ends in September of 2027. After that, Congress has to vote again to extend this program and to renew the law. We are expecting that some changes may take place, either increased amount and so on. So The investors who invest by September 30th of this year, 2026, have a very cool grandfathering protection clause. What does that mean? The law says if you invest by September 30th of 2026 and file your petition, you are grandfathered in. No matter what happens to the program in the future, whether it expires and is not renewed by Congress, the investment amount goes up, the rules of the program change, your petition gets to continue to live and be adjudicated, and you get to finish your immigration process under the current laws. So, because the grandfathering protection ends on September 30th of this year, and by the way, an investment amount will automatically increase on January 1st of 2027. It's going to be recalculated for inflation. That's why we're expecting a lot of investors to want to file an EB-5 in the next few months. I encourage investors and attorneys who work with EB-5 investors not to postpone. If you call me in September, I may still be able to help you, but I would so much rather prefer that you call me in spring or early summer, because by the end of the September, we're going to be running out of available qualifying deals. It's also going to be very stressful, a lot of documents to prepare, source of funds documents, and there are no guarantees that you can successfully file your petition by end of September if you start the process on September 1st. My recommendation is give yourself, 2-3 months. And if you don't want to be caught in this chaos of August and September, where every immigration attorney is going to be busy filing these cases, my recommendation is to pursue this process in the spring. So September 30th, grandfathering protection ends. So if you've been thinking about this program, this is the time to do it under the current rules. So seek advice of an immigration attorney to make sure it's right for you specifically with your documents and your circumstances. And if you need project selection services, professional project selection services, I'm here to assist. So you can reach out and we can see if you pre-qualify for these investments. And I'm here happy to help and answer any questions that you guys may have. Have a good one. Bye.